Welcome to our podcast today. We are here to discuss the art of pacing in a new relationship. Pacing is important in every relationship, especially the things that are new and exciting. And it can be challenging to know how much is too much or too little. Hey, I'm Ty, here with my sister Nikki, and this is Gets Real, the place where newly singles over 30 gather to navigate this crazy world of modern dating. Here on Gets Real, we have candid conversations on topics challenging the dating world when you find yourself single again. Join us every week as we talk about the pros, cons, and mindsets as we hit the road again on our dating journey. So here we go. Hey, Sissy.
Hey, boo. Ooh, pacing. You know what? I keep saying I have a song, and it ain't coming. I don't think there is one. I can't think of a good song for pacing.
It's not. All I keep thinking is I'm stroking it. Stroking to the beat. Stroking to the rest, and that ain't it.
That is not. I mean, that's a different kind of pace, but that's not what we talking about. And see, and I got Isley Brothers work to do going on in my head. I don't know.
I'm stroking, you working.
It's too much going on.
Yeah.
Nothing about pacing. Man, pacing. I'm glad we're talking about this because pacing is one of those conversations in dating that's we don't talk about it. People don't. I think we talk around it. We don't really speak to it. It's as women, I feel like we do the Doctor Strange thing. We meet a guy and everything is going great, and then there we are. We take a brief pause and we Doctor Strange through all of the possibilities to find the best possible outcome of what's gonna happen with this dude based on 5 minutes of potential.
I done walked away from the best of relationships in them 5 minutes, baby. Well, I done seen everything from trips to moving to living situations. And then when I left out the relationship, I was like, I did that. I'm good. I already seen everything. I'm good.
Oh, wow.
Moving on. I seen what it could have been, and I'm good.
But then what happens when, and this is where pacing becomes important, because you have women like me who you may fast forward, and based on what the conversations have been or the small interactions have been, you take it and it's this whole entire build up, and you think this is going to be a great person, somebody that, we match on these things, and this is going to be a great life, and we're going to be comfortable, and we're going to have 3 kids and 2 dogs, and we're going to take these international trips, and we're going to have an au pair and all of these things, and
still ain't got one.
No, we don't have any of that. We may look up and have the 3 kids. We don't have an au pair. We don't have this. None of this is matching.
At this point, it sounds like you ain't even got a dog no more.
No, they probably ran off with the dog. They take better care of the dog than they do the children. This is one of them. So, there we go. So, I think this is where the pacing of it comes into play, where you may see that potential in a person, but then you have to kind of vet them and talk to them to see what do they want to do with said potential.
Right.
So,
yeah. Because for my addition to that is, a lot of times the potential you see for women in an elevated state like that is not the factual present that you're in right now. So where you can see XYZ things potentially happening, sometimes this person ain't even gave you that possibility in real life that could even be possible.
For some, in some situations, I can agree to that. But then you also have those situations where you have a man and y'all are having these conversations and you're doing these things and you can see where he can go in that direction. And maybe he just needs a little push. He just needs a little encouragement. He may need a little more guidance or, something like that. But here comes my Spider-Man quote of, to whom much is it Spider-Man? To whom much is given, much is required. With great power comes great responsibility. That's a Spider-Man quote. Please, y'all, do not murder me in these comments. For all of my comic book nerds, please don't do it. That wasn't my genre.
Only person gonna murder her is probably her nephew. Get it right.
But to whom much is given, much is required. And you have some people who actually want to live up to that. And there's the caveat of that potential. You have a lot of people who are capable of a lot of things, but they don't want the responsibility or the accountability of said potential. They don't want to be responsible for all of that. So they're not finna do all of that. And it don't matter how much you coast and prompt and aid and this and that.
Oh, and then that just sounds like nagging. You said coast, prompt, aid, push. Baby, I'm about to hang you out the door because I ain't got the time or energy to be prompting, coasting, rubbing. I will stroke an ego every 6 months maybe. But baby, if your ego needs to be stroked that much, you is not the man for me because I ain't got time to be stroking your ego like that.
But you got some people that's out there that's like that. But that was the rhetoric of a lot of the men, a lot of the brothers. I need a woman that's gonna believe in me and that's gonna push me and that's gonna, be my peace and be my support and be my this and and then we do and we become all of these things because we see this potential and we're like, okay, well, babe, you doing this right here, but you are really smart. And you don't have to stay in this beginner level position. You can go to this mid level. You're capable. So here we are. We redoing the resumes and we doing the cover letters. And we're, babe, button up your shirt straight. Just, all the things. And we're doing this. We're speaking life. And for what? For him to come home and be like, I don't want to do that. I want to go have a music career. At 35.
Nah, at least you said 35. I done chalked up on some 60-year-olds and I'm gonna be an artist. Father God, that ship has sailed. I am so sorry for your loss.
Yeah.
You tell me this your hobby before you just up and say that this is what you're gonna be doing. No, it's not.
Yeah.
Whatever career you had is probably on its way out into demise also. Along with you. So I need you to be realistic about what you out here doing.
I have no words for that. So here we are with the pacing. So pacing allows for you to stay present into what's actually happening, what you're actually seeing, not fast forwarding months, weeks, months, years down the line. It allows for you to really stay with where a person is presently in their present time, real time. What are you showing me? Real time. Are you consistent in the smaller things? Real time. If you're consistent in the smaller things, you're going to be consistent in the bigger things. So it allows you to not get your heart broken about way down the line when you can, I don't want to say that. To me, pacing allows for you to be able to better assess a situation so that if you see a change later down the line, you have much more of a baseline to be like, this is odd behavior. Let me ask questions as to what's going on right here because this is not the quote unquote norm.
Right.
Yeah.
So how does self-awareness affect pacing in new relationships? where self-awareness can be is fundamental because it provides insight into recognizing your triggers, such as being too eager and too resistant to intimacy. But it also helps you to develop healthy coping mechanisms, which can help you to slow down the relationship's pace and prevent any potential fallout. How much fallout we talking? Because I don't think, on hindsight, a lot of people are even that self-aware.
True. So let's first establish that self-awareness. Let's work on that. You have to be aware of yourself. You have to be aware of what is it that you're after. If you know what your dating goals are, that allows for you also to pace. So if you're out here dating to marriage, if your goal is to be married, you're going to have your markers for things in the progression of the courtship is going to be different than the markers for somebody who's out here dating for casual sex, or dating just to have a companion, dating just to have somebody to go kick it with every now and again. Those things are going to be different. So your first step of self-awareness is to be honest about what the goal is, right? What you out here for, and being really honest about that. And then the caveat to that is also not getting caught up in the hype. Because it's good. I mean, you can get caught up in the hype with, you can be clear on what your goals are. But then you get on social media and everybody's talking about black love and couple goals, and you see all the people posted up, and that looks good. It may even give you, a little butterfly in your chest and in your stomach and stuff. And you'd be like, oh, that's so cute. And oh, I like that. But do you really? Because if all you want is sex with somebody, I don't know. For me, I don't necessarily feel like sex come with cuddles.
No, I need you to go. I need breathing space.
Yeah, if you're out here being casual, this not me calling you 11 times a week. If we're casual, if you're trying to establish something, if what you're after is couples goals, then that's something altogether different. Then get caught up in the hype of a little bit, not too much even that, because what people post and what people live are two different things sometimes for some people. But more so, and that's another thing, like since I brought up social media, like be really clear about what works for you. Because if you listen to like a lot of celebrity couples and what they do and what they've gone through to get where they are, like it's all a process. You have to be honest about what your process is. What are you can't sit up here and say, oh, I want a man that's gonna really be there and provide for me and take care of me, and I want him to pay everything. You may have the type of man that paying everything requires for him to be gone. He may be working 70, 80 hours a week. So the flip side of that is, can you be somebody who want all the cuddle time in the world if he working 70, 80 hours a week?
Who you cuddling with? A bear? The baby?
So you have to determine how those things really fit and interact. Like what's most important to you? What are you really after here? But that goes back to being self-aware. What type of relationship really works for you? What works for you? What gets you going? And what pisses you off? What is your hard stops? What are your green lights, yellow lights, red lights? And then go from there. So when you're aware of what those things are, when you're having a conversation with somebody, if you're not quick to rush into sex and you meet somebody who all of their conversations are very sexually based, and that's uncomfortable for you, you can back up out of that. And you can let them know, hey, that's not the type of conversations that I wish to hold. Not all of the time. Like 95% of our conversations should not be about sex. You don't have nothing else to talk about?
Right.
So pacing allows you to be able to better vet somebody according to what your goals are. To me.
Okay. How crucial is communication in pacing in a new relationship? It's essential. Communication is a tool that helps to set the tone and pace of a relationship. It helps to identify each person's needs, desires, and provides insight into how you can both work together to create a strong foundation for the relationship. Communication can also help set boundaries, making it clear what is and isn't acceptable within the relationship. It's crucial to ensuring that the pace remains steady. How often we talking? Are we having a weekly check-in? Are daily check-ins too much? Not enough? An actual month to seriously check in and say, hey, this is where I am in our relationship. These are the things that I need to I feel like we can work on. These are the things that are not working for me in our relationship right now.
In my experience, people, men and women alike, tend to kind of run when you put like a definite, hey, I need to talk to you.
So don't do a, hey, I need to talk to you. Why can't we do a, hey, we're going to do a check-in at least once a month to see where we are in our relationship. And that can be over dinner, pizza, Domino's. So I don't care if you light a few candles and throw some cards on the table. But for me, it needs to be a continuous conversation. Not a daily conversation, but a, hey, how are you in the realm of our relationship?
Okay, so let me back this up. So are we talking about, are we dating or are we in a relationship? Because to me, if we're dating,
no, we're in a relationship. Because I'm not talking to you about shit. Because I don't even know if I really like you if we date. Because I'm dating multiple people.
But we're talking about pacing. So if we're pacing to get to know someone. So in the framework of that, and if we're communicating and we're checking in to pace this thing out to see where we are, I feel like there are strategic questions that you can ask. Let me finish. There are strategic questions that you can ask as you're going along to see where this person's head is on how serious they want to become. And if y'all answers don't match, if he's dating for sex and you're dating for marriage, or he dating for marriage and you're dating for sex, that's gonna come out in the wash, because it's gonna come out if y'all asking the right questions. Mm-hmm. Now, fast forward, we on the same. We've established that we're on the same page. We've established exclusivity. Here we are in a relationship. Then yeah, for me personally, we going to therapy. Going to therapy is a must for me in my relationship going forward. Once we've established that we're serious and we're headed to that marriage time. So our check-ins need to just be, I hate to say scheduled, but I'm gonna say that they're gonna come up as kind of as I feel them. I would say no more. I would say maybe like once a quarter. If we've sat down, if we have the type of relationship where we've sat down and we've established like couple goals, things that we're working towards.
A quarter? How much is a quarter? Is it like every
that's 3 months?
Okay,
yes.
okay.
father. Yeah, so like every 3 months, just like, you know, hey babe, like, right. Yeah, every 3 months. Hey, how is everything going? You know, how you feeling? How are these things going? And as you are progressing, you may not need to check in so often. You know, every 3 months may seem too much. You know, you could be in the thick of working on whatever projects that we working on and this, that, or the other, and you know, so we hit 6 months and it's just like, yo, babe, we haven't, you know, how you feeling? How we doing? How are you?
Yeah, we're going to have that every 3 months, because I feel like so much, there's too many variables when you start stretching it out. And I don't care what's happening in our lives. Mm-hmm. That's, for me, how things get swept under the rug. Because you have X, Y, and Z going on. Mm-hmm. So the little irritants that you have, you just been kind of, okay, let me focus on what we need to focus on. Don't worry about that. Okay, don't worry about that. Well, I mean, that's how cuts turn into bruises and scabs and
gouges,
yeah. And now you're bleeding, and you need stitches at this point. Like, it's just, that's too long. So every 3 months is manageable for feelings and expression, and gives you enough time to, if you are having a problem, for me to now add this into the series of what we're doing, because this is an issue and a problem. Without it being, you are already on my last nerves and it's been 6 months and you haven't picked up the mental signals that I've been giving you that this is on my nerves type situation. How do you maintain a healthy pace in a relationship? As in, it's important to balance time and energy that you invest in a relationship by looking to spend more time together so that it feels fulfilling but yet manageable. Taking things slow isn't an excuse for not putting in any effort. So it's a good thing to try to keep things in balance.
That's I'm trying to figure out, let me get these words together.
So what would be a comfortable relationship pace?
That's something there's not a blanket answer for that. There's not a blanket answer for that. You have to pace your relationship based on what's going on in your life, and in his life. You have some people who, me and my ex-husband just talked about this, because you have some people who some people don't have a good work-life balance.
Don't I know it?
Some people just do not. They do not have good work-life balance. So if you were somebody, because you and I, Sissy, are very organized people. Mm-hmm. And up until recently, you know that for a lot of my adult life, I've worked 2 jobs. So even in
Bless yourself.
Working 2 jobs, I have the kids, I have the husband, I'm running around consistently. To me, the balance of that between that and my marriage was, when it's my weekends off, bitch, I'm off. And I'm all about my men and my kids. We have our family game nights, we have our family dinner nights. Don't call me. Everybody around me who's important to me really knew my schedule, and I didn't really steer away from that. You try to get those pockets of time in to really create, to make sure that nobody feels left out. There's gonna be times where it's gonna happen. Somebody gonna feel neglected, and the best course of correction for that is just to correct it. Let's sit down and talk about, this is what the schedule is. This is why the schedule is the way that it is. Mm-hmm. And then let's figure out what is the solution that's gonna work for you and for me to where I'm not dog ass tired in trying to do what I gotta do to meet the goals that I have, which is why I'm working how I'm working, and go from there. To me, pacing becomes a part of that when it's somebody that's kind of new and y'all are trying to figure out how to spend that time. If he mad ass busy all of the time, if he's not creating time,
right,
I can't be the only one creating time, and that becomes the conversation.
Right.
I can't be the only one creating time. I can't be the only one coming up with solutions. If I'm the only one that's suggesting, hey, it looks like you're free at 6 o'clock on Sunday and I'm free at 6 o'clock on Sunday, and he's like, oh, well, I'll get back with you on that. You ain't got to worry about me no more.
Ever.
I'm not going to suggest it no more. I'm going to leave it up to you. And if me leaving it up to you means we don't ever have dinner on Sundays at 6 o'clock, then we don't ever have dinner on Sundays at 6 o'clock, which is also going to prompt me to move on.
Right.
Because that lets me know that you're not, I don't fit into your life, and you're not trying to get me to fit into your life. So, finding balance in the relationship takes both people, and it takes a lot of communication. You got to talk about what works, what's going to work for you, what's going to work for me, and finding that in between. If we stay on opposite ends of towns, maybe one weekend I'm coming to your end, another weekend you coming to my end, one weekend we meet in the middle, one weekend we not even here. Right. But just something to get that time and space in. And what does that look like on the communication end? Or is he more of a texter? Are you more of a talker? How does that factor in? Because some people may not, I don't consider sending me 25 memes as a form of communication.
It is not. You might as well send me a picture book and put it in the damn mail.
Yeah.
Like, open your grown ass mouth and have a conversation.
Yeah. Memes are not a form of communication to me. It can be a filler. It's an in-between, memes are kind of like small talk to me.
I don't like small talk.
And I don't either.
I mean, it's so irritating to me.
So,
don't know.
So, yeah, but finding that balance is important, and you got to work it out. You got to work it out for what works for both people.
So today we have learned that being self-aware, communicating well, and maintaining a balanced pace are critical to the success of any new relationship. I hope this discussion has provided you with some insight into pacing in a new relationship. Don't forget to grab the Little Black Book on our website to help you navigate your values and goals while staying organized during your dating experience. Want to join in on the conversation? Leave us a message and follow us on Instagram at XOXOOnTheGo, where you'll find helpful tips and dating ideas as you head out on the town. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us a comment or topic you'd like us to discuss as we navigate dating together.